All right, so moving on now, let's talk about the Twilight Zone, boy. So,
Right.
all I know you
I
didn't
don't have a
check it
chance.
out.
I don't have a chance
Oh,
to see. I don't. The VPN wasn't working for CBS, so I couldn't stream it quick. And I didn't want to download it. I was like, all right, but that's all right.
right.
And I had time, so it's like, all right, you go through now.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right? So, well, before I begin, I had to talk about how my thoughts have changed on this show, right? Over the past year. So, when the first season came out, a little bit of history here, right? This was around the same time, like I think it's literally about a couple weeks after Us came out. And because we knew Jordan Peele was involved with the show, he was the narrator, so he's filling in the shoes of, guys like, the late, great, the legend, the icon, Rod Serling, Forrest Whitaker with the 80s revival. He did the 80s revival, right? I think it was him, or in the 2000s. I can't remember
No,
where he was.
I think he no, you think he did the 80s right, but Forrest Whitaker did the 2000s one.
Okay, but I can't remember who
Yeah.
did the 80s revival. I can't remember. But
He-
yeah, right. So basically, so it was like him now. So when I remember when I went into this, um, I appreciated for what it was, but I was a little bit let down because I kind of went in thinking that they were going to kind of remake some of the classic episodes, like they did, like there was that one, the Terror at 30,000 feet, whatever the title is, and it did like sort of a
yeah,
remake of it, but they kind of changed up the narrative a
they
bit.
made right.
Um,
They made some interesting changes. I wasn't. It
yeah,
was
the
okay.
ending, yeah, it was okay, but the ending
Right.
was still like I don't get. You know what I mean? It was
Right.
good up until the end. I just didn't get the end.
Right, because that was kind of strange, yeah. Because the original is the original Will Shatner version, and then the John Lithgow version was pretty good. And then they did this new version. I forget his boy name. His name from gosh,
Oh gosh,
uh,
from Parks and Rec, right?
right.
Yeah, I
Uh,
forget his name. Sorry, but
yeah.
yeah, and it was this thing with him hearing voices, but it had to do with a
Right,
podcast. So he thought that the
yeah. It's a whole
spirits made
thing.
the
Right,
crash and
and
ah,
they made interesting choices and changes for it. And again, because like okay, so we kind of dump on Jordan Peele for this, but he didn't really have any. As far as I know, he had no real creative input in any of it. As far as I know, like I don't think he directed an
no,
episode.
no, he didn't
Or,
direct an episode. He just
or did he
more
write any.
executive produce, and well,
Right.
I'll get to a moment he actually appeared in one of the episodes. But yeah, go on.
Right. Right. So yeah, so the season one was for me a little bit of a letdown. It had some good ideas. But I felt they could have done more with it. It not as bad as as first letdown. I kind of gave it a second chance. I was like, all right, it's okay. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how the season two turned out now.
Yeah, but before I get to season two, right? But yeah, just like you know what I mean? I was a tad bit let down by what we got to because I
Yeah.
mean it's the Twilight Zone. Like when you hear that, it's like holy shit, you know what I mean? Like that to me is still one of my top 5 favorite shows of all time, right?
Right.
The 60s one, of course, right? But the thing with this one here is like, okay, it's in our time now, so and of course is with CBS All Access, so of course they're gonna go, all TVMA with it, which is fine because yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
why not, right? Why not, right?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I dug the references that they made and all that, but I just felt like, story wise was just kind of hit or miss, and then well, this was the issue that I had, meaning this was the finale, right, which was called Blurry Man. And I didn't want to spoil it back then, but I might as well talk about it now, right? So this is basically where we see an episode of Twilight Zone being filmed, right? So we
Right.
see
Yeah.
the actor Jordan Peele doing his
Right.
thing, but then it's like, wait, something's wrong, something going on, and everybody
Yeah.
picking up. Oh yeah, Seth Rogen was in this episode too. Um,
Right.
Zazie Beetz was there. You know what I mean? And
I
there's
I
this whole
I enjoyed that episode. I thought it was pretty clever for what it was. Decent enough presence. Yeah, the meta episode as called it. Yeah. Go ahead now.
yeah, but at the time, right? I was let down by the surprise though, because well, actually, the
Right.
blurry man turned out to be the spirit of Rod Serling himself, and
Right.
it was just really like this torch passing ceremony. Now. That's what the
Right.
episode is. It's like, okay, well, you guys are in good hands. You know, you carry the torch. Let me go into heaven or the other side, or whatever you want to call it, right?
Like
Let me die
the
in
Twilight
peace,
Zone,
basically. Sorry.
the Twilight Zone itself.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Let me go into the Twilight Zone itself, right? And I remember being like, but you only earned that though. Like you haven't even earned that privilege just yet because
Right.
it felt like, okay, all they're now going into the water, all they're now testing things out, all they're now trying to figure all the way out. Yes, we trying to go back to the old style, but we updated it, for modern audiences. But I felt like they had to crank out more episodes and build a bigger or better reputation for them to be like, okay, we are the official torchbearers of Twilight Zone, right? But with the more I thought about it going into the season, I'm like, I can actually let that slide. I could I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
It's not 100% earned in my opinion, but still it's like you could tell Jordan Peele and Simon Kinberg and their teams, they actually put a lot of effort into making the show work though, you know what I mean? Not all the time it works, but they put effort, right? You could tell that they're really trying to pay tribute to the old series, right? So in retrospect, I kind of appreciate that season finale. No, I won't dismiss that. Oh, all you know deserve the right to be the next chapter of Twilight Zone. But I think that with the season here, you could tell that yeah, they're really doing what they can to live up to that reputation, man. So without further ado, sorry, I'll just run through all the episodes just quickly, right? With this one. But one thing though, before I start, one thing that they do very well here, and I think this is like the key thing that made this season a better viewing experience for me, is that they did away with the whole one episode a week thing.
Right. Right.
Because I felt that with the one episode a week thing, not only does it stretch out the season, but it kind of go in and like, okay, are my expectations high with this new episode that's coming up? Because at the end of each episode, they would have okay, well, coming up next in the next episode, and you'll show you like a little montage of what to expect. So you're there like, holy shit, this looks good. Oh, I'm seeing a favorite actor in it. Okay, I want to see this. And then when you see it, either have your expectations met, or they're just like, it was kind of good, you know what I mean? But because this year, you know what I mean, they decided to just put all 10 episodes out, available for streaming. I thought that was like a perfect decision. Because now it's like, I don't have to look out for the next episode. I could just kind of just watch them for what technically they're supposed to be. It's just a show
Right.
designed to be bingeable, right? Similar to a Black Mirror. It's designed to just be watched out, to be viewed in like about a few hours, and then you move on with your life. So you don't have a whole 10 weeks to doubt whether you're really enjoying the show or not. You have roughly 6 or 7 hours to really make up your mind now. So I thought that was like a good call on CBS All Access for that, right? So I'll just run through each episode quickly and then I'll just share my quick thoughts on each one, right? So first episode we have is called Meet in the Middle, right? This is actually one of my favorite episodes. It stars Jimmy Simpson, who I haven't seen. Well, he actually was in Black Mirror. Look at that.
Right.
And Miguel Jillian Jacobs. I was like, oh, okay, you were this too, right? Yeah. What it is about this bachelor, right? You know what I mean? He's trying to find the love of his life, right? And then one day he hears the voice. He hears Jillian's voice, right? And then later on he realizes, well, he could communicate with her because she's a real person. He could communicate with her telepathically now. So we get something of a her scenario, like the Spike Jones film, where it's
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
guy in love pretty much with a voice, basically, right? Or the image of a woman that he hasn't seen as yet. And I thought it was quite clever just seeing how they kind of talk to each other, how he falls in love with her. But then one thing leads to the next, and he shows his dark side. Something happens to her, so now he has to go and find her. And there's actually a really clever twist at the end where you realize what her motive is. And for some people, I would say like some incels, you might be like, oh, you see, this is why I don't talk to women. You know what I mean? Fuck women, all that kind of stuff. But it's like, no. Um, it was a means to an end. Think about it. Relationships always have some level of compromise to it. that's the message of the story. So take that as you will. And that's what I love about Twilight. So like they will just take something basic and true about human nature and just flip it on its heels and just make it dark. So something about with relationships, you have to kind of give to get back and vice versa. So they kind of flip that now with this episode. So yeah, this is hell of a way to kick off the season. I love this episode, right? And also one thing that's true with all of these episodes here is how damn well shot they are, though. Like
Yeah.
cinematography is just impeccable, though. Like it's like theatrical quality, visuals that you get here, boy. So yeah, once again, like I say, they put effort into making this show work, They really put a lot of effort, right? So next episode we have is Downtime, right? This has Marina Baccarin, who you would know from,
Okay. Yeah.
Firefly,
Yeah.
Gotham, Deadpool's, and
Yeah.
all that stuff, right? Right. So she, well, as the story opens, she oh, by the way, this is actually the only episode here written by Jordan Peele.
Okay. So yeah, so you actually
Yeah.
get involved creatively. Okay.
Yeah, but this is one episode though. He hasn't directed anything though. I waited for him to direct something in this show, at the moment. Cause yeah, he hasn't directed any episodes though, so far. But anyway, so as the story opens, she is promoted to hotel manager. She's working at this hotel, and then afterwards, she realizes like everything kind of stops. Like everything activity in the city stops for a while. And then like people just sort of act kind of weird, and then we learn basically that she is this avatar in this sort of future reality game. Sorry, this
Okay.
well a game basically, right? And she's actually a man, right? A married man playing this woman who
Okay.
works her way towards success, right? And the
Yeah.
game is pretty much stuck, hence the title Downtime, because she doesn't wake up now. So essentially, the players in the game have to be asleep, basically, right, to play in this game.
Okay.
And because she doesn't accept that she's part of this game, everything kind of is put on pause. So she has to kind of, accept what's going on, or else the game will crash. So it's essentially like that. But they play it off like it's this sort of like alien invasion. Okay, you see this big, gigantic, ship hovering over the city, and
Right. Right.
it's very John Peel. Like he's just taking bits and pieces of like sci-fi and stuff like that, but just once again flipping it on its heels. Now,
Yeah.
that was a pretty solid episode. Even though the ending was just like, okay, well, she just did that, and that's the end. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But it was
Moving on.
cool. It was just and not the most original idea, mind you, but it was really clever how they set it up. Though I'll give them that. Right.
Right.
Next episode we have is
Can I remember the recent Ryan Reynolds vehicle that was supposed to come out by now?
all right. What was the name of that show where he was playing the NPR, right?
Yeah, it's NPC.
Sorry, the NPC, the NPC. Sorry, right, my bad.
Yeah, yeah. If
Right.
I'm in mind right now, I forget what his name is.
Right. The next episode we have is the Who of You. This
Right.
would be about the struggling actor, who, well, his girlfriend actually is an actress who is actually getting by very well as far as getting gigs and stuff like that. But he's like, mean I'm a great actor, and why am I not getting any jobs and blah and all that kind of stuff, right? So one day he just decided, what, I had enough for this job. We need to pay with bills. So here's what, I have a prop gun. I can go in this bank and I'm gonna try to rob it, right? So I mean, simple thing, get the money, get out, right? And something happens, like he ends up staring at, well, the cashier, right, who has to take the money out, and suddenly like his consciousness, right, goes into her. And
Okay.
throughout the show, we like he
Well,
kind of learns early on that he could jump from body to body now, and the
also,
person,
they switch bodies like Freaky Friday or what going on?
well, more like mentally, right? Like it's yeah, like mentally he could look at somebody, and like his, I don't want to say his mind, but that's why I say consciousness will jump into a person. So yeah, so like Freaky Friday, it will swap, right? And then
Right.
when he jumps to someone else, it kind of
Go
goes
back.
back to normal. But he is
Right.
still in the new body, right? So it's
Okay.
one of those kind of episodes you have to kind of watch carefully, like, oh no, he's not gonna go back to his original body because he's in somebody else. And it's just this sort of cat and mouse thing because he keeps jumping and jumping and jumping, and this cup is just trying to find him basically, and yeah, he pretty much kind of finds out what's going on. They do a nice little twist in the end. I didn't see it coming though, but it's a nice, clever take on that sort of story, right? Once
Okay.
again, nothing new. You've seen stuff like this before, but how they do
Yeah.
it was quite interesting and kind of
It
humorous
sounded
at
like
times. Really, did.
it sounded a little bit like shit. What's the name of that movie where it is the old Denzel Washington movie? Fallen, I think.
Wait, Fallen. That's it. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
pretty much. Yeah, like that. Right. So next episode we have is Ovation. Right.
okay.
This have McGill, Junie Smollett in it.
Okay.
Sky Ferreira, big singer. She was in it as well too. Paul F. Tompkins was in it too. Like, what?
Right.
Okay. Right. So
Yeah.
yeah. So once again, not a unique premise,
Who's the voice?
but
He's Mr. Peanut Butter in
in BoJack Horseman, I know. Yeah. Right. So it's about, well, it starts off with Sky, right, who plays a pop star. Her name is Fiji. She's kind of fed up of just, the accolades and all that kind of stuff, right? And she spots a street performer, Jasmine. She's played by Junie, playing, guitar, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, well, you have talent. You really want my talent? It's like, yeah. So she gives her this coin. They never really quite established what exactly is on the coin, because it's this Latin phrase that's on the coin, right? But
Right.
essentially, once she, as Jasmine owns the coin, what happens is that as she plays this particular song, everybody's clapping, right? So hence the title Ovation. So in a long
It's
story short, every time she plays or sings, everybody just claps, right? So she goes into this sort of
that's all
American
like
Idol kind of show, which is
okay.
hosted by Paul, and she's nervous, of course, because it's first time on air. She
I
flubs
hope
the
it's not the
line. She
no, I hope it's not the singing equivalent of what we get last year with Camille, there's Camille Giuliani,
oh
the with the comedian thing. Yeah.
as I brought up that, and that actually is the season premiere of the first season.
Right. This is
It's kind of like that though. I did pick up on the resemblance, but
right.
yeah. So essentially, she becomes this megastar, and it's funny because everybody's just clapping, like non-stop clapping. Every time
Right.
she's outside, people are just clapping, right? But it's just such a great premise, right? But what happened, unfortunately, is that they just had to go to typical cliches. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, Jasmine had to leave the city. She had to escape the limelight. She kind of goes mad because she realizes there's another artist going around, just as popular or even more popular than her, and she's
Right.
jealous and she's psychotic, and you can kind of see the end coming a mile away. I didn't even have to tell you what the ending is, because you know what it is. And it's
Right.
even worse when there's a side character involved, which I don't want to bring up, because once I say who that person is or how that person is related to Jasmine, you'll know the ending instantly, right? But
Right.
yeah, it started off good, but there was a letdown because of just the cliche-ness that went down in the middle to the end. But props
Right.
to Junie, for really, doing a
Putting
great
it, yeah.
performance. So even
Right.
even though her being crazy and psychotic was kind of funny at times, unintentionally
Right.
funny, but still, it was what it was. Then we had another letdown for me. This is called Among the Untrodden, right? This is about a girl in this boarding school named Irene, and of course she's the loser, and all the other girls who are pretty much bitchy in this episode treat her like shit. I have this one girl called Madison who's like the most popular chick in the boarding school, becomes friends with her kind of because mainly Irene is intrigued in like paranormal, activities there. So she picks up on the fact that Madison has paranormal powers, right? She's good at telepathy and psychic stuff, and basically, and they kind of form this friendship, right? And essentially it's kind of like her, like Irene trying to fit in with the cool ones, basically, but failing
Right.
at it, right? And then one thing leads to the next. Mainly, the reason why I didn't really like this episode were two reasons. One, I couldn't care for anybody in this one. They all
Yeah.
felt one-dimensional. They were all bitchy for the sake of being bitchy. If you've
Right.
seen
Nothing.
if you've seen Mean Girls, you kind of know what this is about.
Right. Right.
Um, And speaking of being girls, it's not even brightly lit. Like this is one of the like most darkly lit episodes in this season. And I was like wondering why. Like I understand, okay, you're dealing with paranormal forces and you want to be like, the craft. Remember that? Remember that movie? So you want to be like that, but
Yeah.
still add a light, like shine a light, not have everything
Yeah.
in darkness because it's about
For no reason.
witchcraft and all that shit. It's like, bro, come on, come on. So yeah, that was a letdown, didn't care for it at all, right? Same I could say for which is in my opinion honestly the worst episode here, Eat. Um and this have my boy Joe McHale in it. And
Right. Yeah, we said.
essentially it's about wasted. It's about these scientists in Antarctica, they studying like the marine life there because it's something with global warming and something along the line of like overpopulation, well sorry migration sorry of these marine animals to more warmer climates and blah 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 blah. But premise wise, this is the worst. And I kind of get where they're coming from a Twilight Zone perspective, because pretty much the antagonist of the show, wait for it, is an octopus.
Yeah, but they could
But
make
it's like
a.
this. Sorry, what?
No, I said you thought there would be a little John Carpenter's thing going on or something interesting.
Yeah. But I know, as I bring up that, I know that's what they're going for, right? But it's just okay. It's this new breed of octopus that's super
Okay.
smart and
Okay.
then you learn later on it's a product of like genetic modification and stuff like that and
Right. Okay.
essentially it's
Man made
about
the own-
him
Right.
and then in the end I might as well spoil it. It's so bad it kind of laughable. It it pretty much uses his mental powers because yeah pretty much throughout the show he's like killing off person after person, right? But he uses his mental powers because he's so smart to control all the marine life around him to pretty much take over the world.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. You carry too far. Because
I
if you do, if
understand. I understand that octopi are smart. I
yeah,
get that. Okay, they
yeah, but
are.
overdo it.
We've seen the videos of them being trapped in jars and
Yeah. Yeah.
sliding
Yeah.
out. We've seen
They're
those
really
shit,
smart.
right?
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
come on, like this ultra
Overdo it.
smart, this ultra smart octopus that not only kills people but wants to control all the marine life to pretty
Yeah.
much
That's enough.
destroy humanity. And then, well, I'll say just before you get to your thoughts, Ricardo, and then they have like all these info dump moments involving Joel Dredd. So he's like, "Oh, so this is the plan, and it's to have this supreme being that's going to take over the world." And blah 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 blah. It's like
Yeah.
you could tell it's forced. You could tell he don't feel natural seeing this. You could tell he don't even want to be in this episode, Dredd. So yeah, absolute waste of time. Worst
Sad.
episode. Yeah, what was I gonna say?
But no, I say episode like that could work if you just like make the animal just a little smarter than the average bear. Like you don't go too far, but they clearly like to the degree of something what we will consider personhood. If you do that,
Yeah.
that could work. And then that's a good reveal because like it'll answer a problem. Though. But when they do this super smart Lex Luthor bullshit, then enough.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man, come on. All right. So 4 episodes ago, we have a human face. This stars Jenna Elfman, who you know from Dam and Greg. Christopher Maloney. Sorry,
That's
was this? Yeah, I don't
a
know.
hot
I was like, wow, boy, you don't want me to see you? Wow, okay. This episode was kind of in the meh phase, and because I get where they're coming from. So essentially, what happens is that it's this couple, they mourn the loss of their daughter. What
right.
happens is that there's this weird noise or weird presence that happens, and then this alien being shows up, and then it metamorphosizes. It goes through this metamorphosis, sorry, into their daughter, and
Okay.
the dad is like, "No, this is not my
Okay.
daughter." Yeah. It sounds familiar. It really does. The dad is
It's
like, "No, this is not my daughter."
Starman.
Sorry.
Starman, that's a movie. Back in the
Oh,
days.
I remember. Yeah, I remember the
Yeah.
movie style. I never saw Starman. I know the movie. I know about it. I just never saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, but it's song like Starman.
Right.
But it was a woman and her husband. So the alien come and mimic her husband.
Oh, okay. Right. So
Yeah.
it's like that.
Anyway,
Right. Yeah, but yeah. So the dad's like, "No, that's not my daughter." But the mom is like, but it's very but my daughter always was kind of weird, and it's I think it's her.
Right.
Yeah, she really believes it's her. Um, and it's really one of those emotionally driven episodes, just really kind of coming to terms that yeah, it is their daughter, so to speak, right? And I was like,
Right.
all right, well, that's the episode. But slight spoiler, they do a nice twist in the end where it's well, really, it's part of a plan to take over the world. It's really part
Yeah.
of these
Which,
aliens coming in to do it. So they're
right.
using emotion to drive the humans to kind of, you know, keep them occupied, keep the
Right.
humans distracted from
Which,
what's really going on, which is cool.
yeah, which, well, it depends on how you read it because like something like that could probably just ruin it entirely, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
in terms of like Twilight Zone lore, you always have those emotionally driven episodes anyway, right? But I love
Right.
how kind of dark the end was. I love
Right.
how appropriately dark it is, because normally you're gonna just edit off like, yeah, that was nice, but nah, just the ending was just like, yeah, right. Not really
Right.
as
Right.
happy as I might take, right? Three more episodes to go. We have a small town which features Damon Wayans Jr. I was like, all right, cool.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, this was actually relatively the cleanest episode in it because what happens is that well, it's about a church handyman, right? Played by Damon. His wife, who worked with actually she was the mayor of this small town called Littleton. She passed away, right? So he pretty much just tried to get his life back. At the attic, he's cleaned up the place, and he finds his model of the town itself, and then he starts to clean it up and do little things with it. Then he realizes, oh shit, it actually happens in the same town itself. So
Okay.
you
So
get a
I
little,
kind
yeah,
of
it's once again another familiar themed episode, right? So you
I
get a
kind
little
of do
god complex. Yeah, you get a little god complex. What's he sure you're talking about?
a little doodlebug something if you know what that is. That is a Christopher Nolan's film where he's a
Oh
room inside a
right,
room.
yes.
Yeah. That,
Well, the short film he made
yeah.
way back when, right? Yeah. So in this model town, he's fixing up the place and
Right.
making kind of bring back breathing life back into the community, right? And everybody's like wondering who it is, and they think it's the mayor. One thing leads to the next, and well, the how they edit off was actually quite interesting. I really dug how they end that. But yeah, as I say,
Right.
it's the cleanest one because it doesn't have any f bombs or anything like that. Because well, you deal with a churchman, right? So you can't have
Right.
that kind
Right.
of stuff, right? So that was
Yeah.
interesting. But it's an interesting episode. Once again, not really the most unique thing ever. Uh, then we get another one of my favorite episodes. This will be Try Try. This features Topher Grease. I was like,
Okay.
you in this
Yeah.
too? What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Eddie Brock himself, the original Eddie Brock.
Yeah, and actress by the name of Kylie Budbury, right?
Okay.
I haven't seen her in anything, but she was great in this. Essentially, it's about this woman who she's very intrigued with, like anthropology. Well, mainly with maths and the history of maths. So she like
Right.
kind of doing a study of it, right? And then through she ends up there's this chance encounter with her and this guy played by Topher, and instantly they go into this museum and it kind of hits it off there, and she like in amazement. It's like, okay, like how are you how do you know so much about me? Or, what I mean, it's so convenient, right? And it gets even weirder when he kind of picks up on things like that will happen there. So case in point, a guy accidentally throws out a pack of gum, and he knows it's about to happen, so he picks it up instantly. And then in a really really clever twist here, you realize that the guy pretty much going through some Groundhog Day shit. So
Right.
yes,
Right.
he
Right.
is in a time
So
loop. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
you can tell it from her perspective. Right. But it's
so he's pretty
his.
much so he's pretty much living the same day over and over. Here's the
Right.
catch
Right.
though. He is obsessed over this girl, and he is thinking that okay, because well, for one thing, he saved her life, right? Because she was about to she was close to getting hit by this truck, right? And
Right. Right.
just keeps following her. He learns a lot about her, but because he's reliving the same day, he knows pretty much everything about her, right? The only thing is just for her to be like, "Yes, I'll be with you," right? But then things kind of get dark from there because it's like, "Oh, well, I know everything about you, but you know, this particular me that's a girl in this time, I can't just accept you just like that because you know so much about me there." But in his
Right.
case,
Right.
like, well. eventually I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna do this over again. So one way or the other, you're gonna be with me. So I could kill you, and it wouldn't even matter because I'll just wake up in the morning and
Right.
you'll still
Okay.
be here. And they just
Right.
play that off very well. And what I love about this episode is just two actors just bouncing off each other. And Topher,
Right.
yeah, he's a great little psycho though. I really dug that. You can
Right.
tell
Right.
that
Right. He's a bad guy. Okay. Okay.
yeah,
That kind of clever.
he's playing the kind of nerdy, nice guy basically. But
Yeah, but
because
they
he
flip the
feels like he
script.
knows so much now, that's why I
Right.
like how the girl comes and be like, no, this is not correct thinking. You think you know because you're going through this loop over and over, but that's not how the world works, right? I just
Right.
really him trying to accept that, but it's where they go with it. And yeah, I dug the hell out of this episode.
Okay.
Last but not least, we have You Might Also Like. This stars Gretchen Ball, Colleen Cab. We have a parent by George Takei in this. Takei, sorry, in
Okay.
this. Uh, and this one, similar to the, kind of forgot to mention this in the premiere for this one. It makes a slight little connection to, one of probably my favorite episode of Twilight Zone of all time, Time Alone at Last. This would be a
Nice.
moment
Yeah. The
where
guy with the glass.
a broken pair of glasses is found. So that's all. So I was
Right.
like, okay, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Clever, clever. I thought the guy was going to say that's not fair, but he didn't, right? But anyway, with this one here, they connected to, well, another one of my all-time favorites and one for many, To Serve Man.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and I will say this, right? It's not the best episode I have seen personally in this series. A lot of people will love this one for sure because of how they connected. Like it's similar to the Terror to the 30,000 feet, where it's kind of like a remake, but more like a reboot kind of thing of the same story. So essentially, what it is about this suburban mom who is, they don't really say that she has gone through a lot, but she has, right? But essentially, they say that through advertising, she's buying all these products, to be to feel well. But it's like
Right.
just little things like, oh, like charm, sorry, toilet, paper towels, all that kind of stuff there. So her house is like be like real spick and span, very bougie, right? But it's how she needs all these items pretty much to survive and to cope with being alone, right? But then you learn later on that this ulterior plan by, shockingly enough, the same frigging aliens from To Serve Man. Yes, the
Okay.
cannabis are there. They
And
are
they bring
there
them
in
back.
this episode. They bring them back. I was like, oh shit. Okay. But what I dug about this episode is that it's very tongue in cheek though. It's ironic, but they play it off kind of humorous, kind of weird. Like, okay, I'm not really sure what's going on, but they played it off like in this darkly comedic kind of way there. But when they drop the cannabis though, and they do the same thing where they talk telepathically, they talk very slowly, what I mean? They try to talk, in human language, but like I have moments where they're not really sure how they use specific terms and pronouns and stuff like that. That was really cool. But essentially, just it's all involving this item called an egg, right? Which everyone in the town assumes that it needs, but it's just this particular woman here who's like, I don't even know what it is or what we need it for. And once again, it's all part of this big plot to destroy or at least control mankind, right? There's even a great moment where one of the candidates talk about devouring a human leg, and I was remember, all right, remember, the whole cookbook shock
Yeah. Yeah.
twist
Yeah.
for the old episode there. So it's not one of my favorite episodes of the season here, but imagine this would be like a fan favorite, mainly because of how they kind of update the whole, oh, we are these aliens and we're gonna use these things that mean something to you and use that to pretty much subjugate you. And that was a really great moment, but I, I really got caught. I was caught off guard by seeing the cannabis. I was like, whoa, okay,
Right.
this is where we at, right? So, as a whole, with the season here, I would say this was a considerable improvement over the first season. For one thing, the whole 10 episode at one time tactic was great. I really love that. So
Yes.
it's not like
Some
you
of
have to
them.
wait every single week to see an
Yeah.
episode and then be like, yeah, but that wasn't as good as this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People
that
have
wasn't
time.
as good as that one. Exactly
Yeah.
right. So treating it as a bingeable show works, And I guess at the end of the day, you have to kind of look at it as this, as that, right? Not like, oh, some weekly thing that I have to remember to check out, right? Which was
Yeah.
our predicament with the first season. But here's like, okay, 10 episodes, boom, I watch them out. And yes, just like the last season, some episodes work, others don't. A couple were bare, you know what I mean? So you will have a favorite episode or two. I have a couple of favorites. You'll have a few that may disappoint you. But, then again, that is true of all anthology shows, right? Even the original series had one or two episodes which was like, you know what I mean? But case in point, Black Mirror, right?
Yeah.
As much as we praise the, well, except for the last season, as much as we praise the, well, you could say the early, like, let me just say, first two or three seasons, yeah, they were kind of misses as well too. They weren't that much. They were hits and misses. That's what I'll say.
You're right.
So this season here, yes, they were hits, they were misses, and there were some in between episodes. It does kind of suffer a bit from narrative lag every so often. Like like some episodes would run a little bit longer than they should. And that's
You're
it.
right.
Like each episode have to be 45 minutes or 32 minutes or whatever, right? But yeah, there are some little moments that you can just kind of cut out for a piece in the series, right? But what I want to appreciate this revival here, just in retrospect now, because of what we said about season one and with Jordan Peele and us, it's not Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone. So let's get that out of the way. This is not
Yeah.
a socially relevant woke Twilight Zone. Yes, there were some episodes in season one that alluded to that, but that's
I
not what
tried
they're
to.
going
But this
for.
time was okay.
Yeah, this is not what they're going for, folks. It's just, and this is why I have to bring back up the finale of the last season. So it's just mainly them, just the torch was passed to them, so they're gonna do everything that they can to just keep that quality alive, right? Well, keep the vibe of the Twilight Zone, which is just come up with these interesting concepts and let's tell these kind of like cool, crazy, kooky stories out of it. And that's what it is, right? So
Yeah.
I would say don't go in expecting high quality, high caliber stories. I mean, even we could argue even the old series, not all the episodes landed, right? It's just because of pop culture. That's why we could say, yeah, the show is great and all the episodes are great. But no, there were a couple of episodes that didn't work, you know what I mean? Or were dated, you know what I mean? And even like the 60s show, for example, not all of them were trying to talk about the 60s or talk about World War II and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They just told really interesting stories, and that's what we get here. Um, Technically, it's very well directed. Well, of course, it's various directors involved, though, so well directed. You know what I mean? With the exception of like a couple episodes with the cinematography that I complain about. But yeah, you know what I mean? There were a couple episodes like I say were just trash and didn't care for. Some were a bit were meh actually, but overall because of its bingeable quality, I did find myself really walking out of this disappointed. I think that people should give this a chance and not really put it on such this high pedestal like, oh well, if y'all can't touch the original season, then fuck this show. No,
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Like,
trying to do like the
yeah.
old show did, but just in the in this era. That's what it is. So take
But
it as you will.
that's the thing with such a franchise. I mean, such a franchise has such a high standard, and the
Yeah,
nature of it is not like something like say Star Trek where you have to just tell it in the story. See, go with something like Star Trek, you could tell the same stories with new characters and you could kind of get away with it. But with this, it's all about the stories and the premises. So you had to come good. And
yeah,
I remember the Forest Whitaker version just not working. Simply because like, yeah, where you going to add to the material and they don't really have anything.
right.
Meanwhile, the Outer Limits came out and was amazing. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, the revival for that. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Come to think of it, I need to watch the old series. Like I remember watching the new series, but it's only years
Yeah,
later. I was like, oh shit, there was an old version to this. I really should
you
watch
know,
this.
but right, the original Outer Limits wasn't all that hot. It was just clearly inferior to Twilight Zone.
Right,
It did its own thing, but then the 90s Outer Limits just came and just blew everybody away though.
right,
Right. However,
yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
I'll give it a chance still.
Yeah,
So
I recommend you do. But like I say, because it's in this bingeable style, all 10
yeah,
episodes are out. You could just run through them. You know what I mean? Like a couple episodes, you might just be like, "Yeah, this was shit. This was a waste of time. This almost put me to sleep." Actually, come to think of it, that eight episode I want to mention with the friggin' octopus, sorry, that almost put me to sleep. It was
Yeah, is that what
that
I did?
dull. It was that bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, too, though, yeah, you could, just like Black Mirror, you can just run through them, have your little opinion, and then just move on with your life. You not
Right.
have them on such high regard, like, oh well, this is such a disappointment, and this is bad, and what I mean, Russell would be ashamed of this. No, no, you could tell that everybody in this, Jordan Peele, Simon Kinberg, everyone involved, really doing their damnedest to pay. You know what I mean? To keep that flame burning. And if you look at it from that perspective, then yeah, you'll appreciate the show for what it is. I don't know if in the long run, more people would check it out or give it a give it a pass. But I think people should. You know what I mean? And not just dismiss it that, oh well, what I mean, it's not as good as the old one. Of course, it's not gonna be like as good as the old one. No, of course not. But you have to give them credit. At least they doing new things, right? They're not just remaking old episodes like what they did with the
Yeah, that's
'80s
right.
revival. They're not doing that. Um,
Right.
that 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 I mean that all the ideas work, or some of them might come off a little cliche, but you could tell once again they're putting in some level of effort. So yeah, I have to commend them for that. So rating wise, I'll give this a decent 3.5 out of 5, man. This is worth checking out, man.
Right.
I really do think it is a gradual step up from the first season. But yes,
Right.
I would admit though they really do need to kick it into high gear with the third season if they want to stay relevant. Because if they just keep it the way they are right now, I imagine more people will just be like, I don't need to see this, and yeah, it will be like another, just yet another revival, as far as Twilight Zone goes. But last thing I want to say here, I think that Jordan Peele and his team and Simon Kinberg are onto something with this one. They just have to keep the momentum, but also, just come up with more intriguing stories. So come up with a bit more uniqueness and stuff like that. Do the little
Right.
references here or there. And well, one thing I felt any references to older episodes were really smart, like really, really clever. But yeah, you know what I mean? They just have to step things up a little bit more. Just keep going, keep going. And yeah, I have a feeling, what I mean, if they just keep with it, yeah, they will have a goal by in their hands, man. And it will be fitting as far as the whole
Right.
torch passing thing goes. But for now, it's fine. It's fine. Check it out, man.